Okay, guys, I'm not here to scare you at all. No, that's not the purpose of making. And I'm not here to tell you that you're not going to get your visa. No, that's not the essence of bringing up this video. I'm not here to discourage you or to say that your labor will be in vain on this migration work. That's not why I'm bringing up this video. This video is being brought up today to help us to safeguard ourselves and our applications while we are planning or making our Australian permanent residency visa applications. That's what we're going to do. Yeah, just pull it with an open mind so that you will pick your lessons here. And if you have questions, please kindly ask me. I'm very much available to respond to your questions. Thank you very much. Enjoy. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I know I've said this sometimes or possibly a number of times. I need to reinforce it now so that all hands will be on deck and nobody will be caught off guard. When you are presenting your supporting documentations for your skill assessments, which you will subsequently use for your visa or permanent residency visa applications, please be very cautious of what you are presenting. It's like all those police guys when they go out to bring someone in and they will tell them that you should better be silent now because anything you say will be used against you in the court of law. So the court of law is the visa officers of Department of Home Affairs, because at some point they will assess your documents against that which you say or who you say you are in terms of qualifications, that's academic or vocational qualifications, and skills, which are your career experiences. And these guys can be so meticulous that if anything goes wrong, it may earn people a whole lot of pains in the sense that if they discover that some information are not in consonance or concordance with what the applicant presented, they may actually want to dig further. If while digging further, those information are now at variances, then it's raised a whole lot of eyebrows. Let me use this as an example. I once had a friend that we were in these efforts together. But I say one, I have about 3 of them at that time. And what happened was when they presented their appointment date, back at home, sometimes, especially if you are a shift worker, your date of resumption on your paper could be 10th. Let's assume those of us who do start our weekdays at work on Sundays. Assuming the Sunday is a 10th, really, because they will need to do a whole lot of intimating you with what's going on in the office to you or on the ward to you, you can't resume on that Sunday. So if your employment letter, which carries 10th, and the 10th happens to be a Sunday, is like that, you will definitely be resuming on 11th, which is a Monday. So it so happened that my person, their employment letter was something like that. And because employment verifications, which some people call EV, were being done, but how they do it is either they call the person who you have stated on your certificate of employment, the one you submitted for your skill assessment and you subsequently uploaded for Home Affairs to look at when you were submitting for your visa, they will call that person. If you remember very well, they want it to be on institutional letterhead, and there should be institutional email address there. There should be institutional phone numbers there, and they do encourage that you can put your manager, when they've signed it, or whoever is signing it for you as a supervisor, must put their phone number there. So what they will do during employment verification is to call or send mail or even appear in person to be sure that what you've said you are, or who you've said you are, or what you've put there that has happened to you has actually happened, and that's what you are or who you are. So by the time they called that my friend's manager, who signed their employment certificate for them, and by the time they called the person actually stated like, oh, she resumed on 11th of so, which would actually be the correct thing. But like I stated, employment letter carried terms. Now, the manager, knowing that fully well we don't resume on Sundays when it is our first contact with work, said they resumed on Monday, which was actually the truth. Case manager held on to that and felt that the applicant had lied. And I'm telling you, what followed wasn't funny at all. What followed was natural justice letter. And when it is natural justice letter, the one we call NJL, it's coming to you to question what you said you've put down there, or who you said you heard. It could be issues with pay slips. It could be issues with bank statements. Anything you presented to corroborate the job you said you are doing, please ensure you have them. Maybe you would have listed them somewhere. Please don't let this be a big thing that you will not want to work on, because some of us are not so keen on highlighting things or organizing them the way they are. Before you submit, ensure you possibly have a note that you may photocopy everywhere. And if possible, maybe, since definitely you could have informed your manager or your supervisor that, oh, you are doing this, at least they gave you the letter. They definitely know what you are into. You should let them know that they may possibly be called by Home Affairs officer, or someone could, in another case, I'm going to cite, walk into their office to ask about you. A friend of mine too, that was done for her when she was trying Emirates applications, and they came to her place of work and they asked series of questions about her and all that, and she wasn't even on shift that day. So, and it happened again to another friend, and the person came and said, oh, you look so great, this, and you are so young for what you've achieved. And the guy said, they started talking. So I told her everything, that, oh, this one a cool lady. Not that he had anything bad in mind, but he said he is not someone who used to just talk to people. But because that lady appeared so friendly and she was good to look at, so she just opened everything. And thank God that everything he said were just the same as already stated before. When they finished, the person just appreciated him and told him they were from the Department of Home Affairs. It could get to that extent. And you don't blame them, because they aren't seeing us. They don't see us face to face. It's those papers that are speaking for us. And that is why they must be as truthful as possible and your points be as impeccable as possible. So please ensure you have everything at your fingertips. You are able to defend if perchance they call. I've had to extend that sometimes they do call some people, do a video call with them and ask them to show the employment letter. I've had the situations where someone's supervisor was called. They kept calling the supervisor consistently so they would be able to verify the guy. The supervisor was cutting the call on the person all along and did not respond. So this is not something your supervisor will not respond to. This is not something you will have quantas with your supervisor and they will be angry, and when they are seeing those calls they will just look away from them. This is not something someone will be using a phone number that will not be contactable for. Please and please ensure that you tighten all the loose ends of the ropes so that everything will meet you well and you will be so ready for what they want from you. It is just to verify that what you said in your application is the same thing that is happening, and you must be conscious of paraphrasings or rephrasings or restatements so that you don't put labor in place of labor. Like my girl was telling me yesterday when we were going that, okay, that their teacher told them that when people were working in the farm, they labor so hard. And so they asked them in their class, and one person said that is when a woman wants to give birth. But she now told me that she told the teacher that it's like when you do hard jobs. So it could be something like that. So be very, very conscious of the ways the words will be worded to you. If you are not sure of what they are saying, I would encourage that you respectfully ask them to rephrase so that nobody ends up shooting themselves on their legs. Take this as easily as possible. And honestly, since you aren't possibly hiding any skeletons in your cupboards, it shouldn't be troublesome to people. So ensure that you have your documents at hand. You would have submitted pay slips. Know the pay slips of the periods you've submitted. You would have submitted employment letter. Know the dates you stated you started your role on that employment letter so that it won't start being at variances. Don't say you started work in December and your employment letter carries November. In fact, if as much as possible, if you are saying you've started your work on 20th, ensure that that is what is on your employment letter. So if it is 20th January, ensure that is what is in your employment letter. And the time you possibly left the job, if it is a role that you've left and you've gone elsewhere, ensure you have all those things at your fingertips so that you will not be caught unawares. You know, the money for this application is not easy on anyone. Not even this time that everything is so tough to come about. I pray that everyone will smile out of this. There has been backlog. Everybody is on their edges, and people could be caught unawares. This is what I don't want to happen to you. But if you aren't hiding anything in your cupboard, then you should be very, very good to go. I wish you guys success. I pray songs of victories will start coming up from all our abodes as per these efforts that we are putting into it. Thank you guys, and see you soonest.